So I love physical media, but man, can it be stressful sometimes? Let's talk about it. All right, guys. So today we're going to have an open and honest discussion, an authentic conversation. I haven't had as many of these types of videos. I feel like I feel like I used to do way more of these back in the day, and I don't know exactly what it is, why I don't do them more. I've done a couple this year. You know, when I lost my job, I had to get a new job, new schedule, all that kind of stuff. I made a video about that, and I think towards the beginning of the year when I took a break, I made a video about that. And those are more like personal videos just centered around me and my life. And that's what today's video is going to kind of be. And again, I used to do these all the time back in the day. I think the reason I don't do them now is I just, again, we're going to talk about anxiety in this video, but I just get anxiety over filming these types of videos now versus back in the day because there's more people watching. I got more people subscribed to the channel right now than I did back in the day. I just felt more comfortable doing it. And I'm sure that there's going to be people in the comment section that are waiting to jump and attack at me for the things that I say and some of the opinions that I have. Even if it's like a personal opinion, people are always so quick to attack because maybe I said this back in the day, but I'm saying this now. You guys have to understand, I'm a human. I'm a human just like you all, and I'm not trained on doing this YouTube thing. I'm literally just a regular dude that works a full-time job, that's got a family, that comes down in his basement, puts his phone camera up here on a stand, and films videos for you guys. There's nothing special about what I do or who I am. I get on here and I say stuff just like you all say stuff in your everyday lives. It just the things that I say are documented on YouTube for all to hear. So I think that's the reason why I just don't make these videos as much anymore. But I want to get back into making these videos because I think they're authentic, and I think that they're things that people need to hear sometimes. So things that what we're going to talk about today, and this is going to be a video, guys, where I just turn the camera on and talk. So whatever comes out of my mouth is going to come out of my mouth. I'm going to do very little editing with this video today, but we're going to talk about physical media anxieties and just some of the things that are going on with me personally in my collecting mindset. And some of these things, they're going on with you all as well. Like, we all feel this form of anxiety, I feel like. Now, there are people out there that will comment down below. I never feel this way, Kim, because I do everything the right way. I collect the right way. I've been doing this for 30 years and I figured it out. Well, that's the thing. You've been doing this for 30 years. Not all of us have been doing this for 30 years. I've been buying physical media VHS tapes since probably the mid 90s, but I wouldn't have considered myself a collector back then. I was a kid that just went to the stores or asked my parents to get a certain tape that I wanted because I wanted the movie. So that's really like where I started with my collecting, was back in the 90s, and I would get the VHS tape, and of course I would put it up on the shelves, but I didn't think of myself as a collector. We all just bought movies back then because that was really the only way we could watch the movie we wanted to watch over and over again. In our own like personal syndication. So I collected in the DVD days, but again, I wouldn't have called myself a collector. I had a collection of about 500 DVDs, gave it all away, got back into Blu-ray and 4K collecting, I think in 2016, 2017. So I've been hardcore collecting in the new age of like Blu-ray and 4K for going on 8 years now. So I'm still kind of figuring it out, and being in this like level of collecting, like this is completely new to me within the last like 4 or 5 years, like buying these boutique labels and these like super premium editions. I didn't do this kind of stuff like back in the day. Like, I was a super budget buyer. Like, I would get the most standard version of anything when it came to video games, when it came to movies, all that kind of stuff. Every now and then I would splurge on a cool edition if I thought it was cool, but I didn't buy this stuff in mass back in the day. So there's people out there that are like, I've been doing this for years. I know exactly what I'm doing and I'm good. And that's fine. Maybe this video is not for you, but I am, as I go further in this, and I struggle to even admit this to you all and admit it to myself, but I'm going through things right now in my collecting mindset and life that I'm just like, I can't keep doing it this way. But I don't know exactly how to break myself out of it. So I just wanted to kind of document this and put this video out because, again, I know there's people out there that feel the same way and they don't know how to break out of it either. So we're going to cover some topics, some points that I have. It's largely going to be off the cuff, guys, but I did write some stuff down just to keep myself kind of centered and focused on the topic at hand. So physical media anxiety. That's what we're going to discuss here today. And I'm coming at this from a very unique perspective. Now, if you also have a YouTube channel and you're watching this right now, then you probably will understand some of the things that I'm saying and some of the things I'm trying to get across. But if you don't live in that world, if you're just collecting and just watching YouTube videos, you probably won't completely understand where I'm coming from with some of these. So I'm in a completely different situation than most of you all because I create content, and the stuff that I buy, I create content with. So some of the things that I buy, I will buy sometimes because I know the video is going to do good, or I will request certain items from certain studios and certain labels that I wouldn't ordinarily buy myself, because I know if I get that in and I do an unboxing, the video is going to do well and you guys are going to want to see that. So a lot of things I do, a lot of the things that I collect and add to the collection, I do it for my audience. So that's a very unique perspective that not everybody has. And I'll do these unboxing videos of like umbrella titles and Arrow video titles. And I'm like, Ken, why do you keep adding all this junk to your collection? And the easy answer to that is, I wouldn't be buying probably 90% of this stuff if it was just me collecting and I didn't have the channel. But because I have the channel, I feel like I need to showcase it. I need to show off as much physical media as I can, because I'm the hub for physical media, guys. I say that every single video when I start off. So I feel like I have to show all this stuff off, give you all information on this stuff, let you guys know what it looks like. And that's an opportunity for me to create more content on the channel, more informative content on physical media on the channel without having to purchase a lot of it, because I don't purchase a lot of the stuff I get from the boutique labels and the studios. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I do purchase, and some stuff I'll purchase. I'll admit it right here. I purchased in the past just because I know I can do a video on it and because it's going to do well. So that's a very unique position and perspective that I have that not a ton of you all out there watching right now will have. So getting into just some of my current anxieties, and I tried to structure this, and a lot of these are going to run into each other. A lot of these have to do with each other. But one of my big anxieties is I am a man of many interests. I'm a man that likes to explore and different genres, different types of movies, different movies from different time eras. There's not a genre or a specific era of film that I'm not interested in exploring. Now, I may get to that movie and I may start watching, I'm like, why did I jump into this? I'm not interested in this at all. But I'm always like, when I look at stuff in different releases, I'm always somewhat interested in the movie and what's going on with it and the release itself, what kind of special features it has. So I'm interested in a lot of stuff, and that could definitely spark a lot of anxiety when there's a lot of announcements coming at you. Like every second people are throwing announcements. The only thing I'm kind of immune to as far as like announcements and things that are coming out is newer films. For some reason, like a lot of these newer films, superhero movies, stuff like the Meg 2, like I just don't care. And a lot of this stuff I'll get in from Warner Brothers. But I just don't care a lot about a lot of the newer films that come out for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I know I got time to get to those. They'll get better editions later on. I don't know. But I am interested in so much. Also on the channel, like I just stated, I feel like I have to cover so much on this channel. So I'm just interested in stuff from the perspective of me just being interested in it, because ever since I got like the deeper I get into this world, the more I want to see, the more I want to cover, so I can more adequately talk about movies and physical media with you all. And I'm just interested in a lot, like I said, from different time periods. So that makes my taste just kind of all over the place. And at this point in time, I don't even understand like what my tastes are. Like I know that there's things that I like and things that I don't like so much, but I can't really like wrap my mind around why those things are at this time. So I'm hoping as I go further into this, I want to at some point just be like, okay, I know I love Westerns. I know I love horror. Let's just focus in on that, and that's all I collect. Like I would love for that to be the case, but it's not, because I'm like, okay, well, even if I didn't like this piece of Asian cinema, I still want to keep diving into this world. Even though I didn't like this super low budget schlocky cult film from the 80s, I still want to keep diving in until I find one that I like. And that's just kind of my mindset right now when it comes to movies and it comes to physical media. I'm exploring, I'm trying to check everything out. And that's not the best place to be sometimes, because you are just so scatterbrained and all over the place, and all these movies just start going in on each other. There's moments where I'm like, I want to check out everything that this director did, or every movie that this actor did, or all of these different editions from this particular boutique label. my interests are everywhere, and I don't have time to devote to everything. So I should really try to get myself out of that mindset, maybe hone in on some specific genres. Of course, there's my all-time favorites and movies I know I love, but I really should try to hone in on specific things and just give you all the best coverage of those things. But so it's really just from a financial perspective, I don't really get a ton of financial anxiety when it comes to this stuff. I just spend what I can on stuff. Now, yeah, it would be nice to have all the money in the world and be able to buy all this stuff, but honestly, that would give me even more anxiety to have even more titles coming in the collection. So financially, like I make a good amount on the channel just from the AdSense of YouTube and also Amazon affiliate links and stuff. So you guys supporting me there definitely helps me be able to purchase more stuff, to be able to showcase more stuff on the channel. That's just kind of how I justify it. So I'm not like in a lot of debt or anything, like money wise, like debt wise, like that's not a big like anxiety with me. I've always been really good at managing my money. So like there's people that will joke, and I did the audits last year and they're like, Ken, how do you afford to pay your mortgage? Most of my collection, guys, is really a large portion, especially now since the channel has done so much better in recent years, is really just funded by the channel itself. And it really just kind of feeds back into it. I make money off the channel. I put it back into the channel by buying new physical media releases to showcase. So it's kind of a cycle, and I'm not really at this point in time spending like my own money that I get from my work and my real job on my physical media collection, if that makes any sense. So that's not really a huge anxiety, but it is hard to decide like where the money goes sometimes, because I do have I try to budget myself. I really do, honestly, on certain things, but it's hard to decide like where that money goes and what I'm going to spend it on and what I want to get. You know, Vinegar Syndrome drops like 50 releases every month. It's like, what do I decide to get from this slate? Kino Lorber's up in their game when they do a sale, Criterion sale. I can only get so much. So it is hard to decide like where the money goes. Another thing is it feels like oftentimes, this really gives me a lot of anxiety, everything comes in at once. There will be weeks where I will get no mail at all. And then the next week I'll have like 10 packages come in the same day. Now this will be a variety of things, from like MVD sending me stuff, Warner Brothers, Paramount sending me stuff. That'll also be stuff I order from Diabolic, from TerrorVision, from Vinegar Syndrome. So many different items just flooding in at one time. And I get anxiety because I don't know how to like what to tackle first. Sometimes I get anxiety over like, what do I make a video on first? What should I tackle first? What's going to do the best on the channel? Like there's some things that are obvious. Like I get the Terminator on 4K and that's a top priority. Watch that, get a video out, because that's going to do great. People want to know about that 4K because it's a James Cameron title. Other things are not so obvious. I'm like, well, do I cover Vinegar Syndrome? Do I cover TerrorVision? Do I do this John Wick 4K edition that I just got in? You know, North by Northwest, like there's so much stuff that'll come in at once. Sometimes I'm like, how do I prioritize that? And that gives me anxiety, but also it gives me anxiety because I know I don't have time to watch all this stuff. I just know I don't have time to watch all this stuff. My time is very limited. You know, I got a new job 6 months ago. This has gotten a lot worse since I got that job because my schedule is completely different. I used to work 3 days a week, and they were long days. They were like 13, 14-hour days, but I got all my hours in those 3 days, and I would have 4 days off to kind of watch stuff, review stuff, talk about it on the channel, do the channel, because filming videos, editing videos, and putting those videos out, and creating thumbnails, I'm the only person doing that. Like I don't have a team working with me. That takes time as well. So, you know, I only have a limited amount of time. Since I switched my job, it's gotten even worse because I'm working 5 days a week. I'm driving in traffic every single day. That's long traffic. And some of you guys are like, big deal, Ken. I've been doing that every day the past few years. That's kind of new to me. I've never really worked a normal like 9 to 5, or I work 7 to 3:30 schedule like that during the week. So I'm in all this traffic, and I'm basically spending like 50 to 52 hours away from the house a week versus the 40 to 42 hours I was spending before. So I've got less time to do stuff that I did before. So when all these movies come in, I'm just like, I want to watch them all. They all look so cool, but I don't have time to watch them all. I don't have time to watch them all. And it's hard for me to prioritize sometimes, like which one I watch. And sometimes I just simply have to dive into what I want to watch, what I'm in the mood to watch the most. But sometimes I know I need to review something. I may not be in the mood to watch it, and I have to watch that anyway. But also, since I got the channel, I feel like I need to get as many reviews and coverage out as I possibly can in order to be taken seriously as a channel. Even though I know that's not the case. If I got out like 1 or 2 reviews a week and that was all I did, it would be fine. But I'm like, I get all this stuff in, like I got to talk about it. I got to watch it. I can't simply just be like, look at the slipcover. It's nice, right? Cause I do that a lot. And I feel like shit every time I do that. Cause I'm like, I need to watch all this stuff. I need to be telling people about this stuff. Give them more information other than here's the pretty slipcover. That's all there is. So I try to cover as much as I can, but I can't keep up with everything. I can't. So that gives me anxiety as well. One thing that really gives me anxiety, and it didn't used to, I'd say like 2 or 3 years ago, like I explained this in my head. But there's movies in my collection that are taking up space, and I'll never watch them. I will never watch them. And people have asked me about that before, and I'll be like, it's okay, because I kind of see my collection as, kind of like a video store. Like you go into the video store, you're not going to rent every single movie in there, but you want to be able to kind of browse around and pick the ones that you're interested in. So it's nice having all of these options back there. So even though I'm not going to watch them all, like it's nice having those options back there. And that's something that some people could never like understand. Like they will never understand that. You're like, how do you have these movies in your collection you're not going to watch? Like I watch everything in my collection, and I get that. And I'm getting to the point now, guys, where I'm like, it's given me anxiety to have movies in the collection that I know I'll never watch, because it's like, why are they there? But also, like, how do I know which ones I'm going to watch and which ones I'm not going to watch? And that kind of brings me back to just kind of knowing your tastes and developing your taste, and only getting the stuff in your collection that you're interested in and you know that you're going to watch. Because having those movies that I know I'm not going to watch and not really knowing what they are, like that gives me a lot of anxiety. And kind of piggybacking off that, the unwatched pile that I have, like legitimate movies that I'm so interested in and so excited to watch, but I haven't watched them because I either just don't have time to watch them, or I have to prioritize something else to watch. Like that pile is growing so much, and that gives me such anxieties. And these are movies that I'm super interested in, and I know I'll watch at some point. But like, I was like, damn, I need to watch these now. Like, why are they still here? Why have I not watched these yet? And I think about all the other movies that I watch. I'm like, well, I'm really watching like what I can watch. I can't watch these movies yet because I just don't have the time to. So it's like, I wish I could just like, I don't know, take a month off and just do nothing but watch movies. But it's like, I got a family, I got a job, I got this channel I got to keep going. It's like, I just can't do that. Like I got too many responsibilities. I'm in the thick of things right now, guys. My son's in high school. My daughter is getting ready to go into middle school. It's like, this is like prime time of fatherhood. And it's like, I don't have the time that I did even 5 years ago, and that I probably will in maybe 10 years from now. So I keep them in the collection, a lot of this stuff, because I am super interested in it. And I feel like there's going to be a time where I have more time to check this stuff out. But as of right now, like the watch pile just getting so big, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Stuff I'm legitimately interested in, and it's like I'm dying to watch it. Like that gives me a lot of anxiety as well. And getting into what we kind of covered the topic ago, space. Space is something that I kind of laughed off when people said, what are you going to do when you run out of space, Ken? I'm like, I still got, 4 walls in here. It's only that wall's covered. Now it's to the point where this wall's completely covered. This wall's got stuff on it, and this is pretty much like my filming area. I got a shelf over there of VHS tapes. I got a closet that has a shelf in it that's full, 2 shelves, I think, actually 3, that's full of DVDs. So I completely moved my DVDs in there. And it's like, I already need another shelf. Like there's stuff on the floor again. There's stuff like in the center portions that I haven't organized and put anywhere. And it's like, I already need another shelf. And it's like, by the end of the year, I might need another one. Or by, I'd say maybe like the first 3 months of next year, I might need another one. So it's like, that's stressing me out, because I got a spot right there, back there in the corner. And I do have a spot right here. I could replace the smaller shelf out and put a bigger one. But after that, I'm pretty much done. So that this will carry me probably, if I keep collecting like I am, this space that I have will carry me, like I'm thinking about it, maybe a year and a half. And then I'm out of space completely in this room, and I got to think about other options. So I definitely need to start deciding on like, what do I get rid of? And I have a lot of anxiety over getting rid of stuff, guys. I really do. And you could say that's a hoarder mentality. I'm not like super bad. I have gotten rid of stuff before. I've taken boxes to Half Price Books. I've taken boxes to Goodwill and things like that. So I have gotten rid of stuff. But when it comes to like, movies I love, that I have on Blu-ray and upgrade to 4K, especially if that 4K, like that's the only version is the 4K, like I want to keep the Blu-ray. I need to work on some consolidations though for sure. See if I can consolidate that Blu-ray in the 4K case and maybe just get rid of the case to get rid of some room. But also like, I think it's cool sometimes to have those past releases for the certain artwork that they have and things like that. And maybe they got special features that the new versions don't have as well. So that stuff gives me anxiety, just trying to figure out like, okay, like this Blu-ray version, then I got this 4K, then I got this DVD version, I got a VHS. It's like, I don't want to get rid of all these because I love this movie and I want to have all the different editions in case I want to make a video on it or something like that. That goes back to the content creator like side of my brain when I'm thinking about this stuff. So, and again, some of that stuff is just completely ridiculous to some of you all, and you're like, you couldn't even imagine thinking that way. But like, that's kind of what goes through your mind sometimes. Like you got to keep all these editions, like in case you want to do some content on it later on about this particular movie and its releases of the past. So I got a lot of anxiety over that, but I really need to buckle down at the beginning of the year and figure out like what to get rid of, and maybe get rid of like 150 titles in the collection that I either have duplicates of, which I've done before, or I've upgraded to better editions. Just get rid of, or at least at the very least, like tote them away and take them off the shelf to create room for other releases to put on the shelf. So space is becoming an issue, and it's something that people have commented about on the channel becoming an issue. And I kind of just laughed off, and now I'm taking it a lot more seriously now because it is becoming an issue. And another thing, guys, this may not be an issue for everybody, but I think it is. Deciding like what to upgrade. And I'm usually in the mindset of like anything can look better on 4K, but not every movie like I love. And maybe I just don't feel like I need to watch it on 4K, or if I do watch it, like, you know, maybe it just doesn't need to be viewed in the best possible like picture quality. Like maybe I'm okay with just watching it on Blu-ray because it's not a movie that I really care about all that much. I just kind of keep it in the collection in case like a situation comes up where I want to rewatch it and talk about it for maybe content purposes sake. But deciding on what to upgrade sometimes can really give you anxiety. What to buy on Blu-ray as well, because you maybe think a potential 4K is coming down the line. That's something that can give you anxiety. Like, is it going to get an upgrade? Is it not going to get an upgrade? I'm tired of not having this movie in the collection that I love because I'm waiting on a 4K to come. Like that happened to me this year with The Mask. I only own The Mask on VHS. And since I got rid of my DVDs, which I think I had The Mask on DVD, I never rebought it on Blu-ray because I just assumed that a 4K would come at some point. I've been waiting patiently. The 4K's never come. We've gotten rumors for a 4K, but it's never come. So I finally broke down and bought that movie on Blu-ray. Same as From Dusk Till Dawn. I had that on VHS as well. Had the DVD, but sold it off. Never bought the Blu-ray because I was waiting on the 4K to come. It never came. So I broke down and bought the Blu-ray. So I'm hoping that there's a thing called the Blu-ray curse where like you buy the Blu-ray and then the 4K gets announced right after. I was hoping the Blu-ray curse would happen with those two and we would get 4K announcements, but we've yet to get those. But yeah, it gives you anxiety. It really does, because it's like you're wasting your money if you buy this on Blu-ray and then 6 months later it gets announced on 4K. And there's so many titles that I had that example for where I bought it on Blu-ray and then it gets announced on 4K. Thankfully, like I don't like to pay a lot for like Blu-rays. I'll buy a lot on Groove for like cheap, like their $6 deals and stuff like that. But it becomes a problem because it's extra in your collection that you didn't need to buy because you didn't know if it was going to get a 4K or not. And there's still movies that I just don't have on any form of physical media that I love because I'm waiting for that 4K upgrade. And the last thing that I have wrote down that I'm going to discuss here is deciding on like what super premium editions to get and add to the collection and what's worth it, what's not. There's so many times that something gets announced and I'm like, well, I have this on Blu-ray or I have it on 4K, but it's a really cool steelbook or it's a really cool edition, overseas edition, UK hardbox edition, second sight edition or whatever. It's like, do I really need this? There's not really a lot of new special features, or there's no new special features. Like, what's the benefit to get this? So I have a tough time deciding on that stuff. Like an example this year was A Nightmare on Elm Street 4K, Twister 4K. They both got premium UK editions. I decided I can't get both of these. I just don't have the funds to do it, and it doesn't make sense. I've already got a steelbook and a regular slipcover of Nightmare on Elm Street coming. I don't need this edition for that. Same with Twister. It had a steelbook. It had a slipcover edition. But I didn't get the steelbook for that, and I went ahead and ordered the UK edition for Twister. But I decided on that because I thought that Twister, that was probably the best edition we were going to get. And I don't think we're done with the Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it'll get better editions at some point, or a box set release at some point. It has to, right? At least we hope and we dream that it will. But so a Nightmare on Elm Street I did not get, and then I got the Twister 4K UK edition box set. But it was hard. It's hard to decide, like, what do you get? Like, do I get this, 4K from Vinegar Syndrome? I got it on Blu-ray. Do I need the 4K? And again, I'm fortunate, like, in a lot of ways, because I do get stuff from boutique labels. I do get stuff from Umbrella. I don't have to decide on that kind of stuff. But that also goes back to what I said earlier. Like, I'm getting so much anxiety just getting all this stuff in, like stuff I buy, stuff I get from labels. When am I going to watch it all? Like, how am I going to cover it adequately if I can't watch it all? It all gives me anxiety. Anyway, guys, look, that's pretty much it. Like, I covered all the points I wanted to cover, and I'm sure I talked your all's ear off today, but I just had to get this out of me because it's been stirring in me for probably, oh my God, like, it's definitely been stirring in me for a long time, but like definitely the past like 6 months, since I've just gotten a lot less time to cover stuff and talk about stuff the way I want to. And I feel like I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants sometimes. And I'm just watching stuff. I'm coming in here shooting stuff, and I'm not doing a ton of research. People call me out on things that I get wrong. And it's like, I'm doing the best I can at this point, guys. I am, for sure. But it definitely, it gives me anxiety, and I had to get this out of me. I had to talk about this stuff. And also, like, I think that some of this stuff gives you all anxiety as well. I think sometimes it's nice to kind of share our anxieties and share in the misery of life, right? Not that it's miserable. Look, at the end of the day, guys, like, I love this stuff. I truly do. I truly do. Look, stuff that you love sometimes gives you anxiety. That's okay. There's family. You have family members that give you anxiety, but you love them. Your spouses give you anxiety, but you love them. Your kids as well. And it's kind of the same thing with physical media and collecting and any other hobby that you'll have, or anything else that you love. Things that you love will give you anxiety because you love them so much. So that's the video, guys. If you have any thoughts and opinions, I'm sure some of you all will have thoughts and opinions. Be kind to each other in the comments section. Don't get so like yappy about people that have different opinions. Like, we all have different opinions, different ways that we approach things in our collecting and our collection itself. So be kind to everybody. I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's the message of the day. But thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.